right, we continue more with President Trump. We held this interview right after his all-important meeting with President Xi as we continue from Beijing, China. If you were to take some headlines out of this summit, America, I'm sure, watched the reception. And I'll do a side-by-side of the reception of then President Obama.
He doesn't respect Obama. Nobody does. Highly overrated, and he's a divider. Biden will go down as the worst president in history because I think what he did on the border. And
how do you explain your relationship with President Xi? Because it seems as cordial as it can be. He doesn't seem like the warmest guy in the world on the outside.
He is. He's warm. I mean, look, he's smart. He's a very smart person. But we have a good relationship. No, he has to respect somebody. He's no games. He's not like, let's talk about how did the Yankees do last night? Okay, who cares? They don't care. He's all about China. It's
but their
it's a consummate thing.
Their economy's hurting.
I don't know. I've been hearing that about them for 40 years, that their economy's hurting. I've been hearing about it. I'm always hearing about it. Look, we want to open it up. It's massive, and we want to get all of those companies and many more in there and make a lot of money and a lot of jobs for America. That's all. It's very simple, and I've done it better than anybody else. Our deficit's way down from what it used to be. Way down. We lost the car industry to Japan and Germany and others. People have liabilities and whatever, but we had some presidents that were really, really bad. They allowed our country to be just absolutely decimated. And when you look at what happened with Biden, when you look at what happened, the way everybody treated him, there was zero respect. Obama, too. The Iran nuclear deal was the worst deal, one of the worst deals ever made. If I didn't go in and terminate that deal, Iran would have a nuclear weapon, and they would have used it. We wouldn't even maybe sitting here right now.
Can I ask you this, though?
But John, they would have used it. The Iran nuclear
I agree
deal.
with you.
Then if I didn't go in with the B-2 bombers 9 months ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon. And by the way, the one thing they told me, because I deal with the Iranian leaders now a little bit, they said very strongly, because they said, we're getting the nuclear dust. That was a term I made up because it's sort of, it's a simpler term for people to understand. It's nuclear dust, sort of dusty. But I said, we get the nuclear dust. They said, you will get it. They agreed to it, right? They agreed to it. But then they take it back, then they agree. It's back and forth. I don't know. I think they have a lot of problems with the leadership. But Sean, I said, we get the nuclear dust. They said, there's only 2 countries that can get it. Who? You and China. Nobody else has the technology. I said, why do you say? He said, because when you hit that thing, the whole mountain collapsed on it. I said, so you're saying we really hit it good, didn't we? He said, there's no way that any normal country can. The only 2 countries that can go down and get that are you and China. And before the pilots even go back, I remember CNN saying, well, maybe it wasn't hit that badly. Maybe it wasn't. They didn't even know anything, and they were saying that. The top person said to me, there's 2 countries that can get that. We can't get it even if we wanted to because we don't have the technology or the equipment. They said us and China. It's very interesting.
60% enriched uranium could be weapons grade, 90% enriched in under 12 days.
Yeah.
And they were bragging to your Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff.
If I didn't go in with the B-2 bombers that week, that day, that week, they would right now have a nuclear bomb.
So it was that imminent?
Well, I thought so.
The intelligence told you so?
I thought that they were very close to having a nuclear weapon, and it all emanated from those 3 sites that we hit, and we hit them good. We hit them good. And when he told me that, and he wasn't saying that as a negotiator, he just said, we can't get it, we'll never be able to get it. They're not, you got to move like the weight of a mountain. And it was a granite mountain. Those bombs went right down air chutes. I guarantee they'll never build an air chute again.
This is the bunker.
Think of it, at 1 o'clock in the morning with no moon, we dropped bombs. Every one of those bombs went down an air chute and exploded. And the whole mountain collapsed on top of that site. And the Iranian leaders told me that they would be, and everybody else, other than, literally said us in China. And I don't know that China can do it. I know we can do it, but it's a big project. To get it, it's a big project.
Do you feel, there's been people that have, and generals that I've spoken to, that think you have to get the dust, which is the enriched uranium, or have you been told there may be a way to entomb it?
These massive amounts of granite. It's a granite. Granite's the hardest stone. It's amazing that those were really powerful bombs that we used. And don't forget, we hit it on top of that. We had Tomahawks on top of that. No, I don't think it's necessary, except from a public relations standpoint. I think it's important for the fake news that we get it. I'm the one that said we're going to get it, and we're going to get it. We have our eye on it. So Space Force was my creation. I did that in my first term. It's going to end up going down as one of the most important of all of our military.
So it can be entombed.
Yeah. It can be.
With eyes on it.
It can be, but I'd rather get it, to be honest with you. It can be, a lot of things can happen, and even despite the statement that, they can't get it, they are, first of all, if we left right now, it would take Iran 25 years to rebuild, and it can never be like it was. It would take 25 years. I would rather get it, but we have our eyes on it. We know exactly what's happening there. We had, the other day, there was a man that tried to get into the chute. We saw there was a door that was blown to smithereens. And we know everything that's happening. If they ever moved on, and I told them that, if they send a force over there to try where I see somebody's trying, all we'll do is just hit it with a couple of bombs, and that's going to be the end of that. They won't do it. I said, we have 9 cameras on that site, on those 3 sites, 24 hours a day. We know exactly what's happening. Nobody's even gotten close to it. They looked at it at the beginning, just to make it absolute, but I would feel better getting it. So, and we will get it.
Let me go back to a question that has come up before for you, and I want to get into more detail because we are in Beijing. The issue of Chinese students in our universities, more importantly in my mind, is that Chinese nationals have been buying up thousands and thousands of acres of farmland, ranch land, and land near military installations. Now, I would assume I'm in Beijing. If I wanted to buy property near one of their military installations, I don't think President Xi...
No, they wouldn't let you. I don't. Look, it's not that I love it. You want to see farm prices drop? You want to see farmers lose a lot of money? Just take that out of the market. But they've had a lot of land for a long time. Obama did nothing about it. They bought a lot of it during the Obama administration. He did nothing about it. As far as the students, it's 500,000 students they come, good students. I could tell them, I don't want any students. Is a very insulting thing to say to a country. They would then immediately go out and start building universities all over China. But if you don't have those students, good students, by the way, if you don't, and we do another thing, if they're good and they want to stay in America, we won't give them a green card and things like that. And that's not only them, but other countries. But if you want to see a university system die, take 500,000 people out of it. And the ones that won't be hurt are the top schools. The top schools will do fine, but your lower schools, the ones that don't do quite as well, they'll be dying all over the place. I frankly think that it's good that people come from other countries. I'm really a common sense guy, I think, more than a conservative guy. I think MAGA is common sense. People understand we want strong borders, we want strong military, we want good education, we want low interest rates, we want. But
I think people would argue they worry about, do they have nefarious intentions?
Sure, I know, and we worry about that. And honestly, they do things to us and we do things to them. It's a very, very fine line, the whole thing with students. So they have 500,000 students, and our university system does great. It does great. You want to screw it up, take 500,000 students out. And you're gonna see bankruptcies at the lower end of good colleges, but they're not known or whatever. You're going to have a lot of problems. So it's something I'm always looking at. But it's a very insulting thing to tell a country, we don't want your people in our schools. I mean, it really is. Now, I'll have people say, oh, that's a terrible thing. It is a very insulting thing. And it's very interesting. It's something didn't come up today. Came up last time. But I will tell you that school systems don't want that to happen because you won't have much of a school system.
All right, Mr. President, when they look through the history books, this summit, what will people be saying 10 years from now?
Well, I think it's a very historic summit. It's the 2 great countries. I call it the G2. This is the G2. They have G7. They had the G8. This is the G2. And I think it'll go down as a very important moment in history. And maybe more than anything else, a great moment of respect.
Mr. President,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Prime time hours. If you are looking for current headlines they are covering right now, as of May 2026, their main focus includes the Trump-Xi summit, extensive live coverage and exclusive interviews conducted by Sean Hannity and Brett Baier with President Donald Trump from Beijing following his high-stakes trade and foreign policy meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Legal news, coverage of a federal judge dismissing a high-profile defamation lawsuit brought against the network by former Trump supporter Raymond Epps regarding January 6th conspiracy theories. National news, reporting on the abrupt resignation of the U.S. Border Patrol chief, ongoing Supreme Court decisions such as the ruling preserving access to the abortion pill mifepristone, and breaking local stories like an Ohio light plane crash. What specific information or topic were you trying to